Hello and welcome as it is the 18th day of June 2019. My name is Derek and welcome to the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades of the like, well, that is within each's own risk and their own reward. I'm mostly going to be taking a look at Litecoin cross against Bitcoin because a lot of multiple time frame interesting action. But we'll start it off within BTC against the dollar, which we are seeing from the the getting it back move on this period, hanging in there right now on what is day? What does the week start on Monday? So yeah, we're on day number 2 of this week. Just holding in with this gains. Not really going up yet this week, but definitely not going down. And it is a green candle with really no wick going lower on it. Uh, Today on the daily chart, it was a down day, 2.73%, but it's not much of a move going down. It's just going sideways more than anything, really. Still nicely well above the 18 average of highs. And moving on. The 4 hour term time frame, which was in a nice little uptrend in here, has been going sideways ever since it broke into this band at midnight today, we'll say, and for the entire day has stayed within this correctionary mode. As I mentioned earlier, the 1 hour had lost momentum, and that's what this one has done too. Is just went neutral. Yes, the 18 average is going lower. That's just because it's just hanging in there within the 18 average of lows. 3 times it has had this level of support, but it has held it. And within this, it's got a nice green candle up at around the halfway point with 2 hours and 11 minutes left within it. And in viewing that within the single term time frame, this is where I want to see more periods to try to make more sense of everything in here. And most certainly, a major level of resistance in here has been established. It did so starting on the midnight June 15th or starting June 16th. So 16, 17, 18, almost 3 days. It is in a just a solid confirmed sideways consolidation with resistance at around 9,400 and support in here. Well, it came down at this level that I was mentioning before because it wasn't quite at this low. I was saying just this general area here, which is where it was. A pierce above this level is like a 3, 4 times hit. It hit it on this period, and it came back. So now I want to see less candles. That's the wrong button. So I can see on this candle, it came down, came back up. Then it came down close to it again. And so a couple times it was hit there in that area. Then it rolled up, came back after a good rally. It came back, having a higher low to that. And now this move that we're seeing, two very good green candles up, but enough to get above this high, enough to get above the 18 average of highs. Well, that's now done like a stage one band flattening out sort of action within such. And like I mentioned, there was 3 tests there. You can see it clearly on the 15. Not really, not as clearly, but there's test 1, 2, and I guess you can make another 2 tests in here because it came down, lifted up, came back up again. So 4 tests when I look at it this way, maybe 5 when I look at the. There's one. Okay, let's just hide the volume for now. Okay, now I can see the lines better. This doesn't count. That's too high. So 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4, 5. Okay, awesome. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Let's now move on to LTC, which continues its slow grind higher on the daily chart against the dollar. And because of that, I'm not going to focus any time on this cross. Rather, I find some interesting stuff on the cross against Bitcoin that I want to talk about. And we'll start within the monthly chart and just chopping back and forth. And if you can swing trade, buy low, sell high there, you could probably do well. And it's definitely moving. That's all I need these markets to do, and then not go down. And if both coins move like this that you're trading, well, Bitcoin, Litecoin together are doing well when I see stuff like that. And within this, I guess you can say it's just holding nicely just within this 18 average of highs for a few periods. A lot of wicks on both the highs and the lows over the last 3 weeks. But within here, we have on the weekly chart, this little move that came from this low to this high. So a correctionary move making this higher low. Matching high, lower high, if you want to look at it. Pulling back down, now the 18 average of highs, it could come down further. This is that area like the must hold area near the 18 average of lows. So if there's any further weakness, there's no need for me to be concerned by any means amongst the situation. In the daily time frame, the spectacular move going higher. But what we're going to be seeing is that we had a failed breakout earlier this evening, and we're seeing how much of a fast move lower we're going to be having. And I suppose from this point on, knowing the fact that I'm using short-term analysis, I probably should be using a better market, which would probably be Binance over that of Poloniex. And then I'll get better looks on the 5 minute and 15 minutes, which I will be going down towards. So a decent sized gain after an amazing rally. It's given back a good portion of the move from this breakout and an okay smaller portion from this bottom. On the 4 hour term time frame, clear uptrend, clear downtrend. So this is where it gets textbook easy to talk about. And so all these lower lows, so easy to signify here, 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 and here. Even the highs are easy to notice. This gets, when it came down here, it was battling with the lows and it failed. Almost, but not quite to the highs on the 4 hour timestamp on this one here. And then it gets up to it on the 20 on this one here, and then about 5 periods going sideways. But that wasn't enough to even make the band flatten out. And when it was unable to find support here on this one, decent leg lower, and then it comes up to the 18 average and a quick fall lower again. And now for the first time, it has gotten above the 18 average of highs, enough for the band to flatten. So it's up there within a bit better of a attempt in here. So it's made that a statement, okay, time to revert the trend in here. You got this middle must hold area there, always coinciding with the 18 lows. We've also most certainly established some short term levels of resistance in here. I've already spoiled it, a failed breakout that has just happened on the short term, but it's going to be a lot more clearer and interesting aspects. Okay, well this is failed breakout by the book. So let's take a look at this. I mean, we can see all these point low highs and situations within that same correctionary mode. Goes sideways in here, breaks support, same sideways move here within, breaks it. And this was a very good rally attempt because what it didn't do is it didn't resist the support where it came from. It thus has tried to establish a support there, or at least a higher low within this 18, thus establishing this whole range even further, an ascending triangle, however you want to look at it. But when it broke it, leaving the 18, big move, another rally attempt. And when you have these rally attempts, failed move, fast move, unable to hold the lows, breaking this level in here, and then next leg lower. So now this is by far the best rally attempt of the lot. It's close to this one because it had its time, so it could obviously do better. But within the move as we see it, the obvious failed breakout. Let's draw the line right in here. It comes up to a major statement at 9 o'clock this morning. And then several hours going in the sideways range, and then breaking this level of resistance at the 1800 hour mark, and then not supporting where we want it to, at least not immediately. Yes, I want the 18 lows to support, but I don't want to see good green candle up and then three solid ones in a row, giving back more than what it gave up in a row. That's not a good sign for this time frame. But I mean that does. I mean, could have failed move one direction to the next. I've seen that often. Failed breakout, failed breakdown, failed breakout, all that. But it didn't support in this area and towards it. And this breakout could have easily should have even gone higher. I have sell orders right. I mean, they missed. I was putting conservative sell orders in at like 1516, and that wasn't even that close. So let's take a look at this on the 15. There was that resistance, which I'll just raise a little bit. And then you could have just said, nope, in here, in this little ballpark area after this event. But regardless of whether your resistance is here or up there, there is your failed breakout in here. Draw that little box liney. And this little area, I mean, it was okay for it to come down in here, having 5 in a row, but it continuously has managed to make that run further. So now we have to be concerned if it's going to bottom here. Are we going to find a lower high resistance level? Let me remove the annoying advertisement. A lower high rally in here is that possibility. And like I stated before, possible failed breakdown. But failed move, fast move. This is, this is the tiniest I can count. So if I'm supposed to have a volatility scale for how big of an intense a move is from 1 to whatever, it's a 1. It's the minimum intense move it can be for whatever I would consider to be a fast move. The lot of all these red candles down would be it, and that might not be that fast move. We could end up having failed breakout here, come back to where you were into before, and then have your fast move, testing at least some of this empty area, which is pretty much what this would be describing for me within the setup. 18 average in here could very easily be a level of resistance as well, because at first I was looking for this 18 to be support. I was looking for this general area to be support. It's not. Now I'm looking for that of resistance. Let this thing settle out, because when I got a pattern of a higher high in here and a lower low, it's kind of wild card where we go from here. Let's take a look at this again, was quickly long term. And I don't want to see that pierce, because I'm really, let's go daily then and show a lot of periods. I want January 30, 2018. That's what I want. Okay, let's just go to Poloniex' chart again. On January 30th of 2018, you can see that the price action of Litecoin was higher. It went up, it went down, it went up, it went down, it went up, and it's going down a bit. Markets go up, markets go down. And looking at theta, and I'm using January 30 because that's the date that I got. I got extra data days here apparently. This is January 30 in here. So obviously theta's down. But I got data from Crypto Compare, both theta and Litecoin. I put it into a game that I've been playing. I play it on Small Basic. It's a free download, available. Microsoft makes it. It's a computer programming language. I started computer programming in like 1987, even 1986. I was born in I was born in 75, so I was just a kid when I learned how to program. And this is the language I pretty much learned from the start. It's my favorite language. It's the basic language, and I barely know it. In fact, I know like 7% or 5% of its language, but enough to write this program. The code to play this is VZR176, 505 days. And I played this game, and what I've done is I've changed it a little bit where it says theta gain. Well, basically what it does is it finds out since the last trade what's up or down since then and how much it is up. So if I go to auto, I'm looking for small moves. I was doing things like if there's 11% gain for Litecoin, well, if I had 10 of them, I would sell maybe close to 10. 10% of them. And then Litecoin would go up 14%. Then, okay, if I own 9, 10% would be 0.9. I would sell like maybe 1.25 or something. And so on and so forth. And there was a lot of trades in the game. If there was like I was doing minimum 5, it set up like 5.3% up moves, 5% down moves. So I'd be selling like, if it's a 5% move, I'd sell like 6.3%. At a 7% move, I'd sell about 7.2%. At a 9% move, about 8.8%. At about 11% move, I'd sell about 9 to 10. At about 16% move, I'd sell about 12, 13%. And then when they get big, it's all discretionary. And then, of course, times how many you get in a row can change a lot. If you have situations where you had a few short sells in a row and you have an opportunity for a good long sell opportunity, and when I say short sell, that means if I could allocate selling 20% of my stack and only sell 15%, I'm selling 5 less percent than I should. So that extra bit that I could have sold there, I can sell later at a higher price, which is what a long sell, I guess, would be. And these are terms I make for myself. I know short selling is like, oh, betting the market goes down. No, short, selling short the amount I want to sell because I'm selling. And well, anyway, within that game, I mean, it started January the 30th, which is a good time to enter long crypto question mark. Well, if you don't know where the markets are, you know this trading strategy, you're damn right. It's okay and fine. Alrighty, so I started with 10 Litecoin. Litecoin was $164 back then. Theta was 21.5 cents. You're basically, it would have been $3,300 investment. I ended the game with 10.9 Litecoin, so I succeeded what I wanted to try to do. When the other market way underperformed, or definitely underperforms the other one, to be able to keep what I own on the better performing market of the two, which I was able to increase it about almost 10%, 9%. And I did almost double what, though better than, excuse me, double of what I did. I had around 16,000 at the end after 504 days. And Litecoin today, or at least an hour and a half ago when I did this, well, I got this price. It took me an hour to play the game. So I did the game, finished the game like 20, 30 minutes ago, and it took me an hour to play it. So Litecoin at 135 is down almost 20%, which means at 10.9 I'd be down a little bit because I started with 1642 Litecoin, but with Theta prices cut down not quite but close to half off at 40%. I started with about the same 1650 number, but 16,000 would be worth 2,000 and the lot would be worth like 35, so I'd be up like 7% in dollar terms with the markets both going down. That's the whole point of this strategy. That if you get enough sample size and moderate declines, that you can actually have moderately small increases. And also, you're gonna notice playing the strategy. There're gonna be a lot of sells. Like right off the bat, I didn't show it, but if you start the game, you're gonna get a lot of Litecoin sells to start the game off, and there are gonna be periods of times where just one market just continuously goes up in one direction over the other. And at that point, you're going to own a lot less of the coin that you're selling and a lot more than the coin that you're gaining in dollar value like this or Bitcoin value, both pretty much both the exact same ratio among the two. So in this case, I would be owning what would be like better than a 4 to 3 ratio on the two. And it can be quite opposite because what's been going on recently is Litecoin overperforming Theta. So that means in the game that I've been playing, it's been selling Litecoin to accumulate that. Well, if Theta were to have a kick ass rally, the next thing you know, you could see that maybe my Theta goes up from like 2048 to like 2600, and this goes up to like 3000 because I have a lot less Theta that's increasing value, and I have a lot more Litecoin. And who knows what it, well, its value is subjective, of course, because if it was going up, that's a killer situation. Because what hasn't happened since that point? I mean, this was the end of that last dartboard rally, January 30th, 2018. That's when the last major dartboard rally occurred, where the entire crypto space went up together. And to say that it's been overdue a year and a half later, I think is correct. And I think it will happen again, and I most certainly think that both of these coins are going to be part of it. And I think, and I know this is what I'm doing, at least as of now, the plan for that type of strategy. Let's just assume I'm doing this and you're doing all the trading. Next thing you know, let's assume that both Litecoin, but the Bitcoin goes up against the dollar. That's what we were hoping for. Bitcoin's at like 9,000. It goes up to 12, 13, 16, whatever. And next thing you know, Litecoin goes up against the dollar more. Theta goes up against the dollar more. Thus, they both go up against Bitcoin. And maybe theta comes in and does a spectacular like 14x move over whatever duration period of time, and during that same duration, Litecoin does a 3x move. Well, we're going to be selling a lot of theta for Litecoin in the ratio because of a major overperformance. But you'd also have situations where, okay, Litecoin and both are going up. So let's just assume on one day, and let me just write this in because I got the availability too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself some writing space in here. So let's just say in a particular segment, last time you had a deal, say Litecoin was say 0.02, and theta is say 2400 Satoshi. So they've had some good moves. And then next thing you know, we have a great day where Litecoin goes up 50% to 0.03. What a fantastic move. And then Theta has a fantastic move as well, but better than Litecoin. And what it would do, say, let's just have, say, 50 to 65. You see, like 140% at whatever time for the day. Well, in a situation like this, the ratio trade is selling Theta to buy Litecoin, which you could do. Although, spot like that, maybe what you might want to do is sell them both for Bitcoin. And maybe you do want to make the trade because you don't want to lose control of the ratio, which could happen if you try to get fancy with the situation. But one way of thinking about what I want to do is, okay, what I want to do is I want to trade Litecoin for Bitcoin, Theta for Bitcoin, and I want to trade Theta for LTC. So now we got a little cross reference. I could literally go out and sell Theta for whatever Bitcoin, put that in my hardware wallet. Sell Litecoin for Bitcoin, and just that same, with one withdrawal, I can withdraw both of them. And now I'm going to sell Litecoin and buy Litecoin. But now what is kind of dumb is why would I sell and buy Litecoin at the same price at the same time and pay the fee other than for easy number convenience purposes? Well, let's just assume I wanted to sell, say, 2 Litecoin for BTC. I would get 0.06 BTC. And we'll just do whatever for the rake. It's not even worth talking about. And say for Theta, let's just assume I want to sell, say, well, in this case there, maybe, I don't know, let's just say 1200 Theta, which would also be close to 0.06 BTC at that. And now so that's taken care of. But now I want to sell Theta for the Bitcoin. So let me just calculate what that ratio would be. One, two, three. So why would we do this? If it's a four-digit code, like 52 would be, it's 4 zeros. So the ratio would be 569. So let's just assume that I wanted to sell, say, 12, 560, that's 570 times 2, that's 1140. 1140 for 2 LTC. See, in a case like this, okay, this is a little odd, but what I could do is I could say instead of this here, all technically I would be doing is, well, I suppose all I would do is I would trade, well, first I would trade 1200 Theta for 0.06 BTC, then I would trade 1140 Theta for almost 0.06 BTC. So now I'd have about 0.117 BTC after that. And I would pretty much withdraw all of that And in my ledger formats for my worksheets, I would state that this transaction was done, this transaction was done, and this transaction was done. That doesn't make sense. I'm trying to figure this out because it's so simple. If I'm trying to say, no, I'd have to sell 1340 theta. So I'd be minus 1340 theta. I would be, yeah, I'd say I would just sell 1340 theta. I would then withdraw the Bitcoin completely. And then I would write down those three trades that have happened. And then continue on forward. That's probably how I'm going to do it. See, as I'm doing this, I'm like sharing a situation I've never experienced that I know exists that's going to come happening. Ideally, in a perfect world, one coin will have its big up day when the other one either goes sideways down or barely goes up. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.